Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Dungeon Meshi episode number 24 reaction, and this is the final episode of this season. Now before I begin, I do know I've heard from other people that season 2 actually has been announced already. So I'm very glad for that. And yeah, so basically I'm guessing season 2 will be adapting probably the final part of the manga. Like, as far as I know, the correct me if I'm wrong, this season I think it covers like the first half maybe, and then next season will probably cover the second half. I'm not really sure, but by the looks of it, and the fact that this manga has like 94 or 95 chapters, I think 2 seasons of 24 episodes each is perfect. This season has 24 episodes. I'm hoping the next season will also have 24 episodes. So I'm looking forward to this. This has been a great journey, and I'm glad that it's already confirmed that we're going to get a continuation from here. So yeah, okay, anyways, this will be my reaction to the final episode of the season. In the previous episode, we got to know more about Senshi's story. We got to know his full story, and his circumstances and everything we got to know. And we got to see that Senshi has a trauma for Griffin because he thinks that the meat that was fed to him wasn't Griffin meat. So in the end, we eat the meat later on, and the main reason why it feels different, as we get to know by the end of it, is because of changelings. They changed a hippogriff to a griffin. There was actually hippogriff. So either way, that whole thing happened, and Senshi got his closure. It was a good closure. But then disaster strikes, as all the our whole group, they step on the changelings, that thing, and they change into different races. Like Senshi became like an elf. What's her name, Marcel, became a half foot, like this thing. Everyone changed, and now we're trying to somehow get back, because everyone's having inconveniences because they're not used to their body. So let's see what happens today. Yeah, this is the episode number 24 reaction. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my god. uh, oh my god. Yeah, you guys are. Yeah, and Marcel has to carry that heavy thing. Actual ages from how old we look. Something like 60. Oh, that's how. Yeah, it's something like that. Hmm. Remaining lifespan. True. Good point. Yeah, you're supposed to be an elf. You should be. Oh, really? Oh my god. Yeah. Rings. Oh, interesting. So, hmm. Yeah, that's true. Temporary. Oh. Um, he probably. Oh, yeah, I guess. Trying to. Yeah, like that. But she's still going to be in the same form, so bring her back. Yeah. So that was his plan. Yeah. Yeah. True. Hmm. Yeah, the changelings. Wow. Really? Smaller dragon? I don't think so. But wow. Just ignoring him. Rock? Like a golem or something? Gargoyle. Oh yeah. Yeah. Senshi. Oh no, they're here. Oh god! Oh my god! Whoa! Hello! You're taking a weapon! Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god! Ugh. Whoa. Wait, what happened? Whoa. Oh my god, Kensuke changed as well! No! The changeling! Oh no. Yeah. It passed through a circle. Oh wow. Just like in the opening. Right. Like, I'm guessing because. Did they. Oh my god. Okay. Oh God! Like, did they eat the? Wait, what? Okay, here we go. Okay, what did the gargoyle transform to? What the hell? Damn. Yeah, he's become stronger because he's a dwarf now. Me. Yeah? Are you going to throw her? Okay, wait. Oh, they're going to literally carry her. Okay, wait. Oh yeah, they did. Okay. Hey yo! Oh my. Yeah, okay, so there you go. So that's what happened. The sports were there. Hated by their kind. Ah. That's why they have the. Yeah? Yeah, the sword changed. Oh no. Yeah? Okay. Gently place the dumpling in it. Okay. How elegant. Oh my god. Wait, what? Oh my. What? No. What are you doing? Hello? Oh, are you serious? This is. Can we. Oh my god. Changeling fairy ring. Ah, nice. Oh, it's cheese. Oh no. Imagine turning into something weird. Wait, did it work? Yes. So the time. They're back. Oh god. Hmm. 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 Yeah, but it just went. It ran away. The food ran away. It's changed, you know, and obviously it it'll take. It looks like some kind of a demonic sword or something. Whoa. Oh. This is so misplaced. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nothing. Wow. Hmm. So. Hmm. Ah. Oh. Interesting. Good question. Hmm. Head up. Hmm. Oh. Wow. So she ran away as well. Yeah. And then got. Oh, is that Maizuru? Yeah. Wait. What? Were those like Chilchak's previous comrades or something? I feel like she wanted to, you know. Hmm. Yeah, we saw that flashback. Hmm. Hmm. Bacon egg. Yeah. Uh-uh. What? Oh, yeah, mixed together. It's a bit difficult. Yeah, but Falin's situation, he think, but how does he? How can Senshi? Okay, yeah, I think in a different way. Okay, right. This is his identity. All the drug. Oh, that's a very interesting theory. Yeah. Yeah, the thing about before it was different. Fine was dead. But since we were able to bring her back, I guess now it's. How do we do that? Yeah, like eating, that will mean eating Falin. Okay. Yeah? Oh boy. So what? We chomp into Falin now? Oh lord. Others for oh no. You. Well. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the orcs are a good shout. I really, you think that'll be that easy? Yeah, you no. Oh my god. Lios. Release a winged lion. Okay. Okay. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh lord. Yeah, the elves. They were saying like there's another. They need another group. I guess it's going to be the elves, but the elves, I don't see them. Damn. Walking mushroom. That's a gun. Okay. Right. Yo, Laios is just. To be continued. There you go. Oh god. Yep. Right. Oh my god. So I don't know how life is so optimistic. Like, I can understand the orcs. I can understand our group as well. If needed, we might be able to. We might, consume the dragon parts. If need be. Um, I can. Who else? You know what? I don't think Shuro, or especially Kabru, if we tell them about this plan, they'll be like, "Oh, sure, why not?" Especially Kabru. Nah, he's never going to. He has his own troubles with like monsters and his own trauma and like his own misgivings about the whole thing. Same with Shuro. Shuro is not really happy about this situation. Probably not Namari as well, but I especially think Shuro and Kabru will be completely against it. If Shuro is completely against it, none of his group members will do anything to help us at that situation. If Kabru is reluctant, none of his group members are also going to help us. So convincing those two will be the biggest tasks. And then like Lyle said something about we need another group, which I'm guessing they're kind of implying that it's going to be the elves, but I don't see the elves also being okay. That's it. I don't see the elves also being you know happy about this situation. They're going like inside the dungeon just so that they can figure out if something's wrong and what is wrong and right that wrong. That kind of thing. So yeah, like Lias's optimism is crazy. It's like, oh, like we can convince them. No, it's gonna be difficult. Like, yeah, like I feel like it'd be the easiest to convince the orcs. However, and our own group as well, because we all know what Lias is like. If needed, we will have to do it. But the others, in no way. Is it going to be that easy? But let's see how it goes. I guess this plan comes at the end. First, as they said, they have to take care, help out the winged lion, then defeat the magician. So all of this, after all of this, that part comes into play. So I guess we have plenty of time for that. Let's see how this proceeds, and yeah. So yeah, okay. So it's crazy to think. So basically, we have to eat Falin now. Like I'm, like, yeah, I understand. It's not really Falin, it's the dragon parts of Falin. But, like, it is Falin now, isn't it? Falin is part of the dragon. Like, I also understand, like, Senshi's, like, symbolic way of saying, not symbolic way, but his, what's it called? His metaphorical way of, like, saying, like, oh, like, bacon and eggs. The egg is Falin, if the sun is inside of the egg, if we can easily peel it out. I can understand that as well, because like the way he kind of like referred to that, it makes sense. So since he compared bacon and eggs to Falin, he's saying like the egg part is Falin, the bacon part is a dragon. Even if it's bacon and eggs, bacon is bacon, eggs is eggs. We do not say that bacon is and egg is a whole thing. That is why I guess it's a bit easier to digest the fact that we're not really eating Falin, we're eating the dragon. But still it is part of Falin. I just don't like like I don't know, like this is a bit weird. But this is Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of very weird stuff. So I guess this is the plan for now. Unless and until this plan changes, I'm guessing we're going to go along with it. Yeah, but There you go. That was the whole thing. So yeah, that was today's episode. So basically, today's episode, a few important things I need to talk about. First things first, the way we were able to take care of the gargoyles is because, since, as they explained, they had the spores of the changelings on them. That's why they formed like a ring, and the gargoyles, if they went through it, changed into something different, and we made them into harmless creatures and stuff. So not creatures, but they literally became like inanimate objects, kind of. Okay, one thing I need to check here. Wait a minute. Where is that part where they explain the difference between, like, monster? Wait a minute. I cannot find that part. Okay, you know what? When I'm going to go into the detailed discussion, I'm going to talk about it, because they gave us like a proper explanation as to how that whole thing worked. I think, like, oh, here we go. I found it finally. Okay. Oh no, I still haven't found it. Okay, you know what? When I find that part, I'll go deeper into it, because they actually give us a very good explanation. Why? Because I was reacting to it. I did understand most of it, but I feel like I need to go through that part a little better to understand exactly what happened. Because as far as I could understand, since those were gargoyles, they changed into something that won't change back if time passes. But since we are humans, we're like living beings, we changed into some creature, and then if we let it go and let, like time pass, we'll change back. However, for gargoyles, that wasn't the case. I think they gave a proper explanation here. If I find that part, I'll read that part properly and try to understand. But they give us a good explanation as to why we changed, but the gargoyles won't be able to change after, anyways. If I find that part, I'll read that. Oh wait, here we go. I found it. Okay, here it is. Oh, this happens almost at the end, like, when after we're defeated. Okay, so he's like washing off the spores, and he's saying, right now we're like the seabeds for mushrooms. Now I understand why those mushrooms have this characteristic. So when animals have their forms changed by changelings, they're hated by their own kind. True, they die, and they become the new changelings. Right, it's like a side effect. Unlike gargoyles, it'll take time for us to turn back. Wait, unlike gargoyles, it'll take time for us. Wait, I don't understand. Okay, so he says that unlike gargoyles, it'll take time for us to turn back. Does he mean that, like, because I'm pretty sure the gargoyles won't turn back, will they? Because they have changed into something different. So what does this statement mean? Does he mean that unlike the gargoyles, at least we'll be able to change back? Is that what he's meaning? Because, like, I don't know, this statement seems like he's saying that unlike the gargoyles, it'll take time for us to turn back. So right, okay, you know what, I'm a bit confused about that. But I think, like, obviously, like, I could understand. So basically they changed the gargoyles, but they knew that if we wait a little bit, we will turn back. You know what, yeah, this part is a little bit confusing to me. Let me know. Like, I think I understood it, because obviously it's pretty obvious that they needed to wait a little bit for them to turn back. But as they explained, other animals, when they become, like change into something different, all the other animals get scared and they run away and they become alone, and when they die, they become the next, changeling. It's like a side effect. and they become the next changeling, and that again, like, this is how it like continues in a cycle. So yeah, so that's what's going on. But here in the gargoyles case, I'm guessing that's not going to happen. They'll remain like this, because okay, yeah, you know what, let me know. I think I understand this part, but like the bigger details I'm not able to properly make any sense of. Either way, yeah, that was the whole thing. um and then that was the first part. Then the next part, where we get to find that automatic train kind of thing, we get onto it. And here we have a good conversation with Senshi, and like we talk, like Laios talks about Falin, how she ended up joining him on his adventure, and how Laios, like, the reason why he brought her out here is because, as he says, that Falin was always isolated. And like, so unless Elias made like a promise that unless and until he finds someone suitable for Falin, who can be her good friend, like, he will stick with her. And and then obviously Marcel came, and she got a friend. And and Marcel also breaks down and talks about how, like, Falin brought her like nuts and stuff to eat. Yeah, and then we come to that explanation about the bacon and eggs and omelette. Izasumi being an omelette, because her whole situation, she's completely mixed. If you try to separate the two things, it's going to just destroy the food. So for Izasumi's situation, we have to be way more careful and do it slow and steady. Unlike Falin, who's more like bacon and eggs. So just like how we can peel out the sunny side of egg from the bacon, we can do the same thing for Falin as well. And that is when Laios realized how to go about this. So basically, as they say, that since if you eat something, it becomes part of you. So something that is digested, they cannot be brought back. So a few of the meat went back into into Falin, while a few didn't do anything. Those meat portions were digested. They were already part of something else. That is why, that difference. So to separate Falin from the dragon is very simple. We just have to eat the dragon. If we eat the dragon, they'll become part of our body, and Falin can be easily separated from it. Like, that is like the logic, which makes sense. It does make sense. However, the problem is that it's very difficult to pull off. Like, how do you even do that? Like, as they said, how long are we going to eat? It is going to take an immense amount of time. Like, and that is when Lais was like, oh, we can. And she was like, you have connections, maybe you can do something. And Lais is like, okay, I can maybe convince Shudo and Kaburu. And I'm like, no, I don't think you can convince those two. And even if they get convinced, it'll be a very, very difficult process to make them convinced about this. To do something like this. I feel like they'll have an easy time with the orcs. Their own group, they also can understand. We will also probably be easy to convince, because we literally talked about it amongst our own. So like, their group will be fine with it. The orcs will probably be fine with it. Shudo and Kaburu, their individual groups, I'm sure they will definitely be it will be a difficult job to convince those two. And then they talk about they need another group. Like I said, the fact that the elves are getting in the place. Oh, I forgot to mention those guys, the ones from the golden, what do you call it, the golden palace or something. I feel like they'll also have easy time convincing them as well. Not easy time, but an easier enough time compared to the others. But yeah, the problem will be Shuro and Kaburu, and I think the elves will also get included in this. And in no way can I envision or imagine the elves being like, yeah, sure, why not? We'll help you eat the dragon. In no way can I imagine that. But you know what? I'm just assuming that it's the elves that they're talking about, because they're the only groups that are going. Maybe it's some other group that they'll get help from. Who knows? Let's wait for the next season. I'm sure we'll get to know more how this is going to go. But yeah, either way, that is the plan for now, at least. So 3 steps, I think. Yeah, Number one, help the winged dragon. Number two, defeat the magician. Number three, eat the dragon parts of Falin. There you go, 3 steps. And yeah, let's wait and see. I'm glad that we're getting a second season. Wait, I do know we're getting a second season, but I'm not really sure if there has been like a like estimated date or something. You know what? Let me check. Dungeon Meshi. Like, I doubt they'll have an estimate date now. But wait a minute. Dungeon Meshi season 2. Okay, yeah, second season's already in the works. No, there isn't any type of, release or anything. But I'm assuming I doubt it's going to be this year. Probably next year. Somewhere, I think. Either way, I'm glad this is getting a continuation, and I think since, like, you know what, like, people have read the manga, let me know, like, has as far as I know, the manga, like, 94 or 96 chapters there is. Have we reached the halfway through the story? If we have, then I'm guessing the next season will be having another 24 episodes, which will probably adapt the final half of the season, of the manga story. So yeah. Okay, anyways, and there you go, that was today's episode. Okay, now let me talk about this episode scene by scene. I have a few things to discuss today, so let's do that. Okay, the very first scene, we get to see our friends. They have changed because of the changeling, so they're moving forward, and the people who are shorter now, they're having a hard time to carry on. Like, Marcel cannot properly walk. She's also carrying that thing. While Chilchak, like Senshi, since they're more taller now, they can easily walk, and that's why Marcel is like, come on guys, slow down. Either way, here they come, like, talk about a very interesting topic. They talk about ages and how different are their actual ages from how old they look. So Chilchak says, Laios, how old are you now? Laios says, I'm 26. And he's like, according to Senshi, how old do you look now? At which Senshi says that around 60. So they say dwarf lives 2.5 times longer than a tall man. Oh wait, interesting. So if a dwarf lives 2.5 times longer than a tall man, I'm assuming like a tall man lives like a normal human lifespan. I'm just like assuming 80 or something like that. So a dwarf would be living 200 years, if my calculations are correct, I think. So isn't it 200 years? No, wait, 80, 2 times 80 is 160, and half of that is 80's half is 40. So yeah, 160 plus 40 to 200, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So a dwarf lives like 200 or something years, maybe 220 years, something like that. So according to that, they make a calculation and they're like, yeah, so 26 years for a tall man is 60, 65, which makes sense, looking at Laios now. Yeah, so our appearance reflects our actual age. Okay, what actually really concerns me is our remaining lifespan. Do we age at the same pace as before our transformation, or do we change according to our new forms? I would say that we change according to our newer forms, because if the newer forms like show the age of your actual, like, as we see, Laios is 21, but like now he looks like 65, like, so 2.5 times it kind of increased based on that. So I'm guessing based on that he's going to age according to how a dwarf ages. That's how it's going to go. So Chilchak is like, in your situation, the average lifespan for us half foods is 50. That is okay, interesting. So half foods live for 50. Didn't Chilchak say he's like 40 or something like that? So he has like 10 more years or something to live? Isn't that what it means? Or am I making a mistake here? Yeah, he pretty sure, pretty sure he said like he's 40 or something. Like, Marcel is the eldest. She's like 50 or something like that. Then it's Chilchak, I think. Then it's like, I think like Senchilios and all of them, isn't it? So if a half foot's age average a lifespan is 50, so Chilchak is almost at the last 10 years of his life. Is that what it means? I guess he does say that it changes here and there. It's not 50 doesn't mean 50, it can be a bit more. But damn. Okay, Chilchak says in less than 40 years, you will be all wrinkled and die. Oh my god. Which is true, because if you calculate it like that, Marcel is supposed to be an elf. I think she's like 50 or something. So based on half foot aging, like she's probably 10 now. So now 40 more years left for her. That's what he's saying. And it's obviously like a shock, because for Marcel, she has aged 50 years without any change in, like any type of becoming older or anything, because she's an elf. She has a huge lifespan. So suddenly realizing that the same 40 years, if she lives from here onwards as a half foot, she'll become older way quicker than she can even think of. Like, it's as if like for example, we human beings, if you a human being lives like 80 years, so they expect to get older from 60, like not 60, I think like 55, something like that. Wrinkles start coming up, they're little by little they start going a little bit feeble, weaker. They expect it from like 50, 55, 60. From that point onwards, they expect to get old. Before that, they know that they won't get old. Like, that is how people's like they know that, that's how they are accustomed to it. So suddenly, if someone tells you that, oh, you're just going to get old within 20 years, you'll be shocked. You'll be like, what? I wasn't prepared for that. That's literally what's happening to Marcel. She's like, what? I'm going to be old within 40 years? And Marcel's like, is it that small, your lifespan? I thought you live until 100. Yeah, some do. Only a small percentage, I see. Yeah, and she gets scared, and Chilchak says, I'm sorry, I was joking. The point is, if it's true, then these mushrooms are too convenient, which is true. Like people can literally transform into some other race, and just do something like that. So as Chilchak says, why is it not being used outside? If it was such a convenient thing, people would try to sell it. So what's up with that? At which Laios says that maybe the transformation, Chilchak says that it probably is because the transformation is temporary, but comes with nasty side effects. Okay, side effects. There's a possibility. Okay, so this is a side effect that they talked about when animals eat, they die and they become the next, changeling. And while the time limit, as we see, if we had to wait a little bit and we turned back into normal. Lars says, I was thinking of making use of something, making use of it. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? At which Lars is like, oh, I was talking about Falin. After we defeat the magician, I was thinking, like, if we say Falin and she comes back to her senses, like, if we take her to a village, everyone will be like, what's going on? This is a dragon chimera. Everyone will be scared. And that is why Laios is like, it'll be tough for her to remain a dragon from the waist down. And he also said, oh, I thought maybe like digging a hole and covering the dragon part of it. But, and also about the mana, like big monsters won't be able to survive in lower mana area. That's why Lysis is like, that is where these changeling mushrooms come to play. So his plan is transforming the dragon half of Marcel into something different. For example, a lizard, as we saw, or a smaller dragon. Yeah, and he says like maybe like that fan will be able to comfortably live in a human village. And then he's like, oh, and also maybe I also have a little bit of plan on using it to, change into some different monster or demi-human. And he starts blabbering about it, and everyone starts ignoring him. Like, yeah, let him blabber. Anyways, they realize that they're hearing something, and then they realize it's the gargoyles. They're already here, and yeah, the gargoyles are here. So they try to fight against the gargoyles. Like Laius comes up with a plan to go against it. However, Marcel gets caught up in the whole commotion, and since she's small, she gets almost tripped up by everyone. And Chilchik is like, this is why I immediately go into cover when stuff like this happens, But Marcel's like, come on, like I didn't know about that. Like how could I, Either way, they grab Marcel and just starts carrying her. And here you can see the gargoyle grabs hold of Kensuke and throws it towards them. And you can see Chilchak and Marcel were holding both their hands like this, making a circle. And the sword went through that, and the sword changed completely. Kensuke changed into something else now. It looks like some kind of a demon sword. So they come up with they're like, wait a minute. So maybe we can use this, And obviously we can understand the reason behind us becoming like the changelings is because it's a side effect. We ourselves are kind of like that now, like changelings now. So I guess it makes sense. As they explained, when the creatures die, they become changelings, but we haven't died, we're still alive. So we haven't really become changelings, but we do have the same property. So making like a circle with our hands and passing something through it will make will work just like changelings do. So we come up with a plan that we are going to use it against the gargoyles. So they're like Marcel's like, hold hands everyone. We'll get a gargoyle to pass through the ring. If my guess is correct, the gargoyle will transform. And one of the gargoyles comes in and it gets stuck into the sewer. That is when we surround it and yeah, it changes into something weird. I don't know what that is. That looks like some kind of a disc with a face on it. Yeah, so the changelings cause this. Okay, here we go. So non-living things change faster. Okay, wait a minute. Non-living things change faster. I see. Okay. I forgot about the fact. I've kind of forgot about it. That we actually needed a bit of time to change. If you remember, we stepped on the changelings that day, and the whole day we were fine. But at night we started having like a fever, and then the next day we changed. So it took a while for us to change. That's what Laius is trying to say here. Non-living things change faster. It's an immediate effect, and that's what's going on here. Okay, so they're like, all right, we can use this against the changelings. Against the gargoyles, and they'll immediately change. So, but the problem here is now, what do we do with the other gargoyle? The other gargoyle is being cautious now, so it's just not jumping towards us. So they're like, all right, we have a plan. Their plan is basically to grab Marcel, and just swing her around to try to, get the gargoyle through them. So they grab Marcel, and they try to bait in the gargoyle, the remaining gargoyle. And yeah, the gargoyle comes in. And what's funny? Because I just realized their plan. Like, if we make like a circle with our hands, it's on the ground, So unless and until the gargoyle comes and sits in the middle, it won't change. But we had an advantage, and that advantage was Marcel. She doesn't need to be on the ground. She's so small that we can literally pick her up. So basically, instead of the circle being like this, we changed the circle to this, and when the gargoyle came attacking us, it was easier to make it go through the circle because we can literally lift Marcel up and change the circle in such a way that it is easier for the gargoyle to pass through it. Like from a flat circle like this, we made the circle tilted like this so that we can get the gargoyle in, and that's what happened here. And that's why it was necessary that we lift up Marcel, and that was part of the plan, Anyways, and the second gargoyle changed into those statues which piss, like those pissing statues. I don't know what you call them. Right. So there has been 3 changes. Number 1 is that gargoyle which became this disc with a mouth. The second gargoyle which became this pissing statue, and Kensuke who became a weird type of like a sword. Right. Either way, and here they give the explanation. Like Laios gives the explanation about how when animals change into something different, they get hated by their own kind and they die, and then they become the new changelings. And he says, like, unlike a gargoyles, it'll take time for us to turn. Okay, I understand this now. You know why? The reason why before I wasn't understanding this explanation, this statement, is because I completely forgot that we took a little while to change into something different. That completely went out of my head, in the previous episode. Yeah, we didn't change immediately. It took us a while. That's why this sentence didn't make sense to me at that point when I was discussing about it. But now it makes sense because I've remembered that, yeah, we needed a little bit of time. And that's literally what Laios is saying here. Unlike gargoyles, it'll take time for us to turn back. Like how the gargoyles immediately turn back, it'll take time for us to do that. So we'll have to wait for now. That's what Laios is saying. I this part didn't really enter my head because I forgot that we actually needed a little bit of time. Like, I don't know, like in my head I was like, what's he talking about? But yeah, it makes sense now. Okay, anyways, next Laios talks about his sword. Everyone's like making food and everything, and Laios says, Kensuke, look at how you've changed. I doubt it was the mushrooms that turned the insides into a key, but will it revert if I give a wash? Wait a minute, just a minute. Oh, wait, is that... Wait, is that a key? I doubt it was the mushrooms that turned the insides into a key. Wait, is that a key? I genuinely thought it was a sword. I thought it was a weird design, so is that a key? Okay, right, you know what, let's wait. I'm sure we'll get to know in the next season what happened with Kensuke and how this proceeds. But okay, so right, either way, they are talking about like making food now, so they're like, okay, let's make dumplings. But what's her name? Izutsumi is like, I don't want to eat the same thing again. At least then she's like, okay, let me cook something better. And all he does is fries the dumpling. It's just like, what the hell? You just fried it. Like, it's the same thing. And that is where, like they come up with a plan, or Senshi comes up with a plan. He inserts the dumpling into the mouth of that disc. Oh, obviously it's a changeling, so it changes. And he's like, all right, let's eat it now. And it changed into a different type of like, dumpling and different types of food. So each of them start eating it, and the ingredients inside of it has also changed. Some has cheese in it, some has some like mutton in it, and stuff like that. So they have a good time. Next day they wake up and they realize like everything is that they've changed back into their normal size and their normal race. So yeah, everyone's relieved. Okay, now after that, um, later we are on our way again, and here you can see like Elias was like hiding his sword in a uh, like a blanket wrapping, at which Marcel's like, open it, let me see it, and Elias is hesitating. So basically, yeah, we see that it has mushrooms going on top of it. So should we form a ring around him and beat him up? Go wash off it right now. Yeah, so Laius was taking, like, didn't wash it because I think his plan was basically to use those changelings later to transform himself. Because we've seen how he wants to transform himself into something else. So he was hiding it from everyone, and he was like, okay, let these mushrooms grow, I'll make use of them later. But Marcel knew something's up, and she's like, yep, go and wash it. You cannot, you're not allowed to bring something like this unless and until you wash it. Okay. Okay, anyways, next we come to like a different part of this whole place. This is like an automatic, like, like gate and everything, like an automatic trolley. Right, and they go on to the trolley kind of train kind of thing, and it starts automatically moving. So essentially it's like, okay, let me read the directions. So everyone's like sitting down, and he says like this is a type of like a vehicle that starts moving when someone boards it, and yeah, so everyone's like quiet. Essentially it's like, okay, let me make some tea. So he brings out like roasted dried seeds to make tea. Yeah, so here is where Senshi asks Laios, like, can you tell us about you guys? Like, why did you and your sister become adventurous? You don't strike like someone who dreams of making a huge fortune. At which Laios starts talking about his story. He says like he went to the school, like, and everyone, he wasn't able to get accustomed to people. Then he decided to leave it and join the army, and but in the end he didn't fit in there either, so he left. He got in the caravan, passed through the, and left. And then when he came across the boarding school where Falin was, he decided to drop in and see her. At which Falin was like, oh, let me join you. And she also ran away from school and joined Laios on his journey. And then they went on a boat and came to this island. And as he says, after arriving on this island, like the gold peeling was thriving, and after that they decided to stay here. Even after all that stuff happened, they become adventurous, and little by little, like they meet new friends. You can see that he recruited Shuro. There's Maizuru there as well, I can see her. Then we have Namari and this dude. I think he's like one of Namari's probably like teammates. And then we have Chilchuk and a few other characters. I don't know these characters. I'm guessing these are Chilchuk's previous friends, maybe? At first I thought maybe like this lady here was his wife or something. It's probably not that case. I don't think so. Let me know if that's his wife. And then Falin, sorry, Marcel as well, as you can see. Essentially, like, what complete lack of foresight. And he says, like, like she was in a school. You just brought her like that, like, didn't you think about her future? And Laios says that Falin's childhood wasn't very fortunate, and she had talent for magic, which she was shunned for, as we've seen in that flashback. He says, like, I couldn't stand the environment, so I left the village a year before she did. The whole situation, because Laios was also discriminated against, as you can see. Not discriminated, I would say, but picked against, like bullied, or like shunned. That's why since he couldn't like go through that, he left the village a year before Falin did. And then Falin entered the magic school. Until she met Marcel, she had her meals all alone. It breaks my heart to think about it. Well, Falin's spirit was much stronger than mine, and it didn't bother her too much, maybe. That's why I made a promise myself to never abandon her again, unless and until she finds someone who would be by her side, which is obviously Marcel. Um, and Marcel starts crying here, like Izusumi's like, oh, what's happening? And then Izusumi realizes that it's like a serious situation. And Marcel says, like, like Falin used to bring me nuts and flowers and stuff, and Lyle says that she probably just wanted to hang out with you and eat with you. You can see Izusumi is trying to kind of like she doesn't know what to do in this type of situation. She's trying to kind of like like pat her back or something, and Marcel like hugs her, at which she starts patting her back. Okay, anyways, so after this whole conversation, Senshi now talks about the bacon and eggs theory. So he says Falin is like bacon and eggs now, they're stuck together, but we can peel it apart nicely, unlike Izusumi, who's more like omelette. So Izusumi's situation is different. We have to be very careful in separating her, otherwise the whole omelette can get up completely botched. So it's more difficult situation. We need to be careful and slow and steady. Unlike Falin, who we can just peel out, just like the egg. And that's what I said, like if you think about it, like from what it's like sounds like when Lyle said, oh, we can eat the dragon parts, it seems as if he's saying like, oh, we eat Falin. But if you think about Senshi's, the way Senshi talked about it, if you think about it like that, it actually makes it a little bit more digestible, because you understand we're not really eating Falin, we're eating the dragon parts, and that is why he brought up the bacon and eggs metaphor. So bacon and eggs are separate things, just like how Falin and the dragon are separate things. It might seem like we're eating Falin if we eat the dragon parts, but we're not really eating Falin, we're eating the dragon parts of it. Just like how bacon and eggs isn't a singular entity, it's bacon and eggs. Similarly, this is Falin and the dragon. So they're not like Izusumi. She's not like Izusumi. So we're not technically eating her, we're eating the dragon parts of her. If you think about it like that, it makes, it makes more sense. But I don't know, it looks as if they're both like mixed together. So it's still, mentally thinking about it, it still seems like we're going to eat Falin, but technically we're not. Like that's what I was trying to like say here. Like it seems like we're going to eat Falin, but that's actually not what's happening. We're just taking out the dragon part of her, eating the dragon part out of her and leaving her with her human part. And this is where Senshi, like talks about a few other things. Lyle says like, if we eat the dragon part or separate it from her, can we turn her back into Falin? And he says, it's not that simple, is it? At which Senshi says, that day I preserved some of the dragon meat. And he says, like, it all turned back into flesh and merged with Falin, except a few of the other meat didn't turn back into the dragon. It's the parts that we ate at dinner. True. As he says, meat that has digested by other creatures loses its identity. Yeah. It is a duty, it is the only clear law in this dungeon, whereas the line between life and death is blurred. In that case, if we consume all the dragon parts, we may be able to drive out the soul of the dragon, which makes sense. So that is what, what it's, so basically, to bring Falin back to normal and bring her sanity back to normal, back to human, we have to consume all the dragon part. If we consume all the dragon part, then the dragon's soul will have nowhere left to go. It will probably dissipate, and Falin will be free again. That's what he's saying. Since the dragon part and Falin part are two complete separate identity, Falin hasn't really if Falin consumed the dragon, then it would become part of her. But she didn't consume the dragon. The dragon just went and stuck into her. Like a, I don't know, like some kind of a removable, like a thing. It just came and stuck into her. So it's two different things. So because of that, it will be easier to separate the dragon soul out of her. We can just consume the dragon part, and the dragon soul won't have anywhere else to go. So that's what it is. If Falin consumed the dragon, that would have been a different thing, I guess. You know. Um, at which Lysa, it feels weird hearing you say that, because didn't you say like you're against resurrection? And he's like, yeah, I'm still against resurrection, but we're not really resurrecting anyone. Like Falin is like this. We can help her out. So yeah, that's why I'm okay with this. Which makes sense, as we saw before. Like before, like he wasn't really keen on resurrecting back Falin, but now that Falin has already come back, he's okay with it, because like she's already here. So we're just trying to help her out. That's why. But now everyone's like, come on, man! Like the whole dragon, you think we can eat it? Like how long will it take? Even if the five of us, like try to do it, we can eat a kilogram each day. It'll take us over a decade to finish it all. And then maybe essentially it's like, use the connections that you have. Elias is like the people like that I know. And he's like, okay, like we will eat it. Obviously we can use the ask the orcs for help. Then the inhabitants of the golden castle, they can probably help. And up until that I was like, yeah, sure. But then he says there's Namari, Shuro and other groups, and I'm like, okay, I think that'll be a bit difficult. In no way is Shuro eating Falin's dragon parts, and I'm sure Namari won't be doing that either. So it'll take a long time to convince them. Those two will lend a hand if we appeal to their emotions. But then he says, and Kabuto seemed interested in trying monster food. No, that was a full-on misunderstanding on your part. He did that because he didn't want to he didn't want to make you feel offended. If you remember, Kabuto ate it just because Laios was just like, oh, eat this, but Laios came to them under the misunderstanding that he ate it because he liked it or something. But no, that's not the case. Right, anyways, that's all I can come up with. And they're like, that's quite a list. Hardly enough to consume the entire dragon. If we had another troop, and like I was saying, as he says, I wish we had another troop, I'm guessing it's probably going to be the elves. But I cannot even imagine the elves agreeing to any part of this. So maybe it's them, maybe it's some other group who will meet in season 2. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Okay, so they're like, alright, let's talk about our goals then. First, help the winged dragon. Second, take out the magician. Third, eat the dragon parts and help out Falin. And it's hilarious how Laios is already planning on how to cook the dragon parts of Falin. And then we get to see Laios, Shudo and Namari and Kabru. They're coming in back to the dungeon, and the elves are following them. And you can see Falin is trying to eat like the running mushrooms, and the magician is like, don't eat it. And and then they also realize that there's some kind of a ruckus going on. Laios is like, oh, I wonder what we will use to garnish the food, Like, he's already thinking about that. And everyone's like, can you please stop? Now is not the time to be thinking for planning Falin menus. Anyways, and that is where it ended, And yeah, that's that. So let's wait for the next season. That was a fantastic first season. This show started in one way and went in a complete different way. It is absolutely insane how this show turned. And I love the fact that it still retains its lighthearted and comedic manner of the whole process, because yeah, this show is pretty damn heavy, deep, and dark in its own weird way. But it's actually very interesting how they're still able to retain this lighthearted comedic side of it, which is something I really appreciate. A show like this, which shows so many uncomfortable stuff like this, being able to retain that is, I don't know, it's actually, at least in my eyes, it's very good. Because I don't know about you guys, but dark type of shows which goes too much into the dark side, I know a lot of people like shows like that. I'm not really a big fan of it, I wouldn't say that I don't like it, it's fine, but I would prefer something in a more which has a more positive spin to it. That is why I love slice of life shows. They're so happy and just everyone is just having a nice time. So and I don't really watch that many dark, gritty shows. Like there are some shows that have dark sides to it. I'm fine with those. If the main theme of the show is something positive and nice, I'm okay with it. But there's some shows which like start with something dark, ends with something dark. It's all throughout the whole, like like a very dark theme to it. I'm not really very much of a big fan of those type of shows. Just because I don't like this this type of a thing. So I'm very glad that this show has a proper balance between those two, and I think that this is the best. We get like each thing at its at like a proper dosage. Like there's not too much like sad, dark, gritty things happening, and not too much of a comedic thing. It's like a good like balance that complements each other. So I'm glad this show is like this. That is why I feel like I was able to enjoy this show so much. And yeah, and I know a lot of people actually started watching this show, and I think like a lot of people dropped it at the first 2 episodes. But I was very fascinated about this show from the very beginning, because I had heard a lot of good things about the manga. Like I always saw the manga and I was like, I heard people talking about it and I was like, should I read it? But then I realized that let me just wait, because I feel like it'll get an adaptation soon. And it actually got an adaptation, and I decided to react to it. And that was one of the best decisions I've made, because this show is one of a kind. And I don't say that lightly. There's a few shows that have been able to make me say that this is something special, and Dungeon Meshi is one of them. Like definitely, like I'll never forget this. Like how this show transformed into something such an interesting way, and it's just so very interesting. Yeah, and I do wonder if the people who dropped this show back then, maybe after hearing it from other people now, maybe they'll give it a try again, and then they'll experience the good part of this show. Like the when how this show transformed. Maybe that'll attract a lot of people back. I don't know, because like I've heard a lot of people say that they dropped it at the first 3 episodes or something. Yeah, but I think a lot of people might probably come back after this, after hearing other people what they have to say about this. Either way, yeah, but I'm glad I stuck with it, and I would have stuck with it either way, because like I said, I like these type of shows. Like I don't know, and yeah, it did start in a bit of a very interesting way. It seemed like it's going to be a show about adventures going into the dungeon and eating monsters, and that's the whole impression I had about this show for the first 3 episodes. And not even the first 3 episodes, for the first half of this show, I feel like like the first 8 to 7 episodes, it was like this, and then it started changing little by little into the way it is now. So maybe that made people be like, what the hell is this? It's basically like a cooking show with monsters. Like, yeah, and they dropped it because of that. But even if this show was just like a cooking show about monsters, I still would have watched it, because I liked it from the very beginning. But I love how it didn't just stop at that. It continued, and it made it something very special. I liked the whole cooking monsters and like interesting thing, that whole interesting part about it. But then when these stuff got added, I was like, damn, this is even better. They had a good like a good base, a good food, and they made the food even better. That's basically what happened with how this is going. And this is barely the first season. I am guessing it's going to get better from here onwards. Either way, I'm going to end it here today. So thanks for watching, guys. This was my reaction to the final episode of Dungeon Meshi Season 1, because Season 2 is going to be coming. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed, comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Another show will be replacing this, because next season is going to start, I'll make a separate video talking about all the new seasonal shows that I'll be watching. That'll be a video later on. But yeah, this show is obviously going to get replaced by something else. And I'll see you guys in the next new season shows that comes. And yeah, see you guys then. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.